So, this was quite interesting because I made the right call in the last episode. Because not only is episode 8 and 9 together one full arc, it's literally, one full arc, a very small one. So, the Alice Ramos arc was 4 episodes, the Beach arc was 3, and now we're heading to 2. How ironic. Anyway, this is Green Arch and N1. And let us go into episodes 8 and 9, the Farmlands arc. Let's begin with episode 8. Mao and the gang are back at their place, with Mao enjoying his time with Alice Ramos, as he should, with Emmy being there as well. During this little peaceful moment, Orishihara does ask Mao, how are they going to still pay since McDonald's is still closed? Which, the beginning part of this episode, because this is just a tad bit after the beginning, Chico's dad does get a call from his brother that they need people for the farm. So, coincidence. Mao, Ashia, and begrudgingly Orishihara, to a degree, accept the job. And during the road towards the farm, with Chico's mom driving those three and Chico, Orishihara gets carsick, which is funny. Also, during the road, they notice a museum that's called Kapakan. This is relevant later. Anyway, once they arrive to the farm, we meet Chico's big family, like the extended family, and as Mao puts it, we see a different side of her, which she acts different with family. After a chat between the family a bit, Mao and his group start working. And it shows after the fact. And it's too much for them since they're basically dead by the end of it. As they were recovering, Chico and her family basically invite the three to go to the hot springs, which turns into a fun, embarrassing mess since they have to encounter Susanoo, Emmy, and Alice. With Alice obviously calling Mao father, and Chico's parents are dumbfounded. So there was a conversation regarding Mao being, the adopted father figure for Alice. And this conversation leads into Emmy offering to work at the farm. Her reasons are actually revealed a few scenes later, with Chico kind of wanting to talk to Mao privately. So they go on a night walk, and it is revealed that, the reason Emmy joined the farm work is because she doesn't like the idea of him, Orishihara, and Ashia probably, but mostly Mao, working in the farms, considering the fact that Mao and his demons destroyed her farmlands. So there's a conflict right there. And obviously, as we can recall, her father died, her fields were destroyed, so anything of her family legacy gone, which is the main push for her hatred towards Mao. So it is justified in a sense. This does eventually come into a talk between the two of them once it hits the next day. Emmy notices that Mao is very guilt-looking, so they do talk about it, which obviously, if this was season 1, Emmy, she would not even want to see this pity. If anything, she'd be even more infuriated. But season 2 Emmy and, Alice Ramos being a part of their lives has helped mature Emmy, since she knows that she doesn't like it. She absolutely detests it. Even if he does regret his actions, she doesn't want that. If anything, she hates it even more. But she's kind of okay with it to a degree. She hasn't forgiven him. I think people forget, and it does show that she's much relaxed with them, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't hate them. But she's being mature since she knows this is for Chico's sake, if anything, and Chico's family's sake. So she's not going to put a personal grudge over the main important thing, which, as I said, this shows maturity. I doubt season 1 Emmy would be this mature. She would do it for Chico's sake, but begrudgingly. She wouldn't be as cooperative as she is right now. Anyway, eventually this leads to the end of the episode where Mao and company end up having to deal with a bear. Because, gotta end that with a bear wanting to attack them. Episode 9 is the fun part. Continues off where we left off, dealing with the bear. Mostly this confrontation just ends with Emmy beating up the bear. Chiho's uncle and aunt just left stunned, which leaves obviously Emmy stunned. And after this, somehow the news gets involved for a moment, wanting to find out who beat up the bear, or as they call it, the bear slayer, which Emmy just completely hates that name. She goes ballistic mode. It's just funny because she goes into the angry tsundere mode. Similar to how I enjoy jealous Chiho here and there, angry Sun Emmy is just a treat. Her getting mad is almost hilarious, and we haven't seen her get this infuriated in a while. Well, after this, Mao and Ashia finish up some work, while learning more of the importance of agriculture, prompting Mao to think back on when he had to unite the demon realm. This is interesting because we see Mao also growing as a character. He's growing more and more fond of humanity, becoming more human within each episode. Anyway, once they start heading back to the house, and when it's nighttime, the neighborhood associate president alerts Chiho's family and, well, the Inta Isla group that there's thieves stealing crops from people and, well, from families. Well, prompting Mao, Emmy, Susanoo, Chiho, Ashia, and Urishihara to discuss for a plan because they want to help the Sasaki family in protecting their stuff, their crops, their solar panels, etc. During this conversation, the grandmother of Chiho does listen in, and Emmy makes a point that she couldn't detect her somehow, which I don't know how to take this. Either she's getting too relaxed that she's not detecting people, or Chiho's grandma is in a whole different level of stealth. Anyway, aside from that, like the badass the grandma is, she helps the crew by formulating a plan, easily telling Urishihara here, show me the map, and easily just telling them, okay, this is what we need to do. And Urishihara, surprisingly, had some good thinking. Hell, showing that he isn't pointless to a degree. Anyway, eventually they have their plan. They all split up into groups, and I laughed when I saw how Susanoo was pouting for being paired with Mao. They wait, and then when a car comes by, something hilarious happens. Mao grabs something he wasn't supposed to, a happy accident of sorts, which obviously leads Susanoo to nearly kill his ass. Hell, glad Chiho doesn't know about this, because, she would have freaked the fuck out. Anyway, they basically all work together through teamwork and communications to stop the thieves. We had an amazing moment with Ashia just knocking the hell out of someone in human form, and then Emmy and Susanoo both looking interestingly intimidating, almost like villains, but still very badass. And my favorite moment with Mao slowly approaching the last thief, and just, it's almost like that moment where you're like, yep, he done fucked up, especially when Mao transforms just to intimidate the fuck out of him. After the situation is cleared and the police are involved, as they should, Chiho's family does give the group their thanks by giving them a good amount of food. As Ashia puts it, their food budget is just high up now because they have enough food now. And during going back to the main Mao's place without Chiho or Emmy there, they learn about the fate of the thieves. Basically, yeah, they're charged with a lot of crimes, and how they are just jackass students who just do stupid things and deserve to be punished. Which I'm glad that Mao and company were able to stop their menace. Now, there is something that I wanted to note. The episode ends in a very different take. Now, Season 1 did have this with Episode 13, such as related to Urishihara putting a chip in Emmy's bag, which results in a whole different situation, but it will focus on this one. In the anime, and I'm talking about this episode, Emmy is at her place with Alice talking to the bear, basically being like that the bear slayer isn't going to get the toy stuffed bear. And obviously Emmy is pissed because she doesn't want Alice calling her like that. In the manga, and possibly in the light novel, but I'm referring to the manga for here, she reads the news related to the bear slayer at work, which obviously she doesn't like. Alice gets the attention, causing her to ask if that was, well, her. And yeah, Emmy freaks out, and because she's freaking out at work and no one knows why, only her, because she's talking to Alice through telepathic communication. Since she's not in her physical form. So she goes to the bathroom, and as she's trying to calm down, Alice basically says if she doesn't like being called the Bear Killer, which is the alternative name of Bear Slayer. This obviously clearly pisses her off, especially knowing that Mal was the one that told Alice about this. So she laughs, tries to act all happy, and pays the boys a visit, and beats the ever-living shit out of them. And while they were just enjoying a good watermelon, and it is just hilarious. When I saw the episode's version, I'm like, why? Why change this? The original, or at least the manga, was fucking hilarious. Oh well, anyway, I'm not going to split hairs on this. I just wanted to make a point on it. By the end of the episode, we do have Emi and Susanoo talk about, well, what happened, how the Mal got its powers. And this relates to what I said last episode. It relates to the museum. Using the fear of the object that was containing all the fears throughout generations, he was able to convert that into magic. Pretty fucking smart, Mal. That, and Merida calls Emi and basically says that someone named Lila, if Emi has interacted with Lila, which is probably the mysterious woman, and it is revealed that, yeah, Lila is the mother of Emi, which I'm not even surprised. If I remembered correctly, that was the case, but I mean, there was hints right then and there. If it just felt too convenient. But overall, what a fucking end to this small 2-episode arc. I didn't like the change at the end, as I was telling you. I wanted to see Emi beat the crap out of them in animation, even if it was just still images of them getting their ass whooped. But it's fine. Overall, these episodes have been pretty good. Yeah, season 1 really is a very high bar to reach, but season 2 hasn't been that bad at all. Props to the team.